cultural identity of South India under some kind of strain or threat? Is South India still a traditional conservative society? Does it lack the cosmopolitan spirit, as Jairam, Union Minister, alleged yesterday at the Conclave? What about issues of gender bias? What about issues of traditional communities fighting to keep their art forms intact? These are some of the issues only that I will raise with a very special panel that's joining us here today. Please welcome Dr. Kiran Bedi, the Lieutenant Governor of Puducherry. She, in a sense, represents the North-South divide being overcome, because she is, of course, a former Chief Ministerial candidate in Delhi, but now has found a new sanctuary in Puducherry. Also joining me is Khushbu Sundar, actor and politician. As I said, maybe with the wrong party, but that's her choice. Also joining us is Suhasini Maniratnam, a woman of many parts, actor, writer, producer, director. We're also joined by Leela Sampson, one of the country's leading dancers, also a former chairperson of the censor board and a very proud member of Chennai Civil Society. Also joining me is Dhanya Rajendran to represent the new generation, in a way, of young journalists, bringing out a wonderful digital site called News Minute that focuses on issues of the South. And just in case I thought I was outnumbered here by the women, I'm joined by RJ Balaji, a very popular radio jockey and someone who's become a voice of Chennai in many ways. Thank you all very much for joining us. And I want to ask each of you, are you in favor of Jallikattu or not? You can start, Khushbu Sundar, since you're a politician. Are you in favor of this traditional sport continuing? Should this sport continue?
My answer is not going to be anything me being related to politics. I think as a person from Chennai, I'm a true-blooded Chennai. I feel I've been living here for the last 30 years. I personally feel that we need Jallikattu. And it's not about tradition alone. It's the wrong conception, misconceptions that people of the North have with them about the bull. It's not bullfight. It's known as bull embracing. And Tamil, I think Kamal Hassan was here yesterday, and he also said, it's different meaning. It's the bull embracing. So I think the conception what the North has about Jallikattu is absolutely wrong. It has to definitely go.
You've already started this debate by making it North versus South. But Suhasini Maniratnam, you come from a village where you've actually seen Jallikattu. So do you believe that this is a sport which, do you see it as a sport, or do you see it as animal rights activists see it as cruelty to animals?
Yeah, like you said, I think I'm the only one who's actually seen a real Jallikattu being performed in a village. And there is a lot of, celebration and festivity to it. But it's very male dominated. Very few women even come to watch, because some of the men who are fighting are all from their families, so they stay away from it if they get hurt and things like that. So I think I will take the side of those women. I will stay away and see in this fight who's going to win. If it is somebody closer to me, I'll come forward. If it is somebody not related to me, I'll stay away.
Leela Sampson.
Well, I'll have to say, Rajdeep, that as a person, connected so strongly to culture, I believe that it's a tradition, and like many other traditions, you can argue that it should survive. But I'm a very strong animal rights, a lover of animals, and I feel there's an element of cruelty to it, which I personally don't like to watch, and danger.
Dhanya Rajendran?
I watched 4 Jallikattus. The first 3 were very shocking, because the element of animal cruelty is very much there, and of course human rights violations, but those humans are there by their own choice. But I see the conversation which is happening now is very divided. It's between animal rights activists and those who believe there should be Jallikattu. So I think the 4th Jallikattu I watched was the one with restrictions, where only one person would be allowed inside the arena and the bull would come. It was a very sober affair. And no one was there was no male, no adrenaline rush there. It was a very sober affair. So maybe that should be the path forward, not an entire ban on Jallikattu. There has to be dialogue. It cannot be tradition versus what the Supreme Court or the animal rights activists say, because that's only making this a confrontational issue. So why not have a dialogue? There has been Jallikattu with restrictions.
So you're saying Jallikattu with restrictions. RJ Balaji, were you part of those large gathering of 15, 20,000 people who assembled in Chennai over the weekend to protest against the ban?
I actually wanted to. I was back in India yesterday morning, so I couldn't attend the event. And Rajdeep, to tell you one thing, the actual name of Jallikattu is Air Taduvudal. Taduvudal in English is hugging. So if I hug you, will it hurt you?
No, hold on.
No. Air is the bull. Bull. If I hug you, it might hurt. But imagine hugging generally.
No, I know there are those
Hugging
who call it
the
a bull embrace. But the fact is there is an element of cruelty also that you cannot deny.
See, I for once, not even for once, many times I agree with Danya, and this time also I agree there should be certain rules and regulations for Jallikattu because the sport has evolved, people has evolved, but it is our tradition. You can't sit in an AC room and just call it as hurting a bull. And I, for a fact, know that it is not only, as Suhasini ma'am said, one thing that I know, I have done shows about Jallikattu on radio and I have done research on that. Breeding of a cattle is done predominantly by women in the villages. So it is a sport that involved both men and women. And it is a lot of love involved. Lot of tradition involved. So somebody from a AC room can't say this is hurting a bull. It is air taduvudal, hugging a bull. Yes, there are people might hurt. Yes, there are. As she said, I need rules for. If you imagine cricket match happened with Sehwag with no rules, you can go hit and with Dhawan. Go take the bat and hit anybody. What will happen? You will have rules. 6 balls per over. If a batsman behaves badly, he can be sent out. You can give red card, yellow card in a football match. So fine. For frame rules, don't ban a tradition, don't ban a sport that has been there for hundreds of years.
Ma'am, you've been the most silent that you've been in a long time, so pick up the mic and tell us as a policewoman, do you believe that where do you stand as the Lieutenant Governor of Puducherry? I'm sure it's also played in your union territory.
I haven't seen one yet.
But it is, in village communities in Puducherry as well. Would you support it?
My knowledge about Jallikattu is through television. I've only seen the visuals on the television till yesterday. And what I saw was, here was a bull racing through, escaping himself from the tail being pulled back. And then the bull is being provoked around and the bull is raging through the crowds. That means everybody's so vulnerable. The bull is provoked. The bull is being hurt. The tail is... I thought you were saying hugging. Are you trying to hug the tail? I was wondering who's hugging the tail. I didn't see any hugging. I only saw provocation. So the television visuals till yesterday said this. And it is trying to escape and also running into the crowds, which means that anybody is vulnerable to be injured and hurt. That's all I saw. And I start to wonder, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Even if it's a tradition, are we not supposed to grow out of such traditions? Where you clearly are violent, clearly are hurting, you are clearly being... And it is a case of cruelty on animals. That's the law. And I guess I would feel Supreme Court has rightly upheld not having Jallikattu.
Let me turn, even as we've been discussing this, the images that have been playing come from the original topic that we had intended for today, which was reflective of what had happened or allegedly happened in Bengaluru on New Year's Eve. The images were of the so-called mass molestation. Now many believe these images were exaggerated. Some are saying that actually what happened isn't quite what was shown on television. But either way, they seem to do enormous damage in a way to the reputation of the South as being safer for women, as being more embracing in terms of, the man-woman equation, safety of women on streets. Do you believe that things have changed? Dhanya, I just want to first understand, did the media overplay this issue? Because we in the media are looking for sensationalism. And therefore what happened on Bengaluru streets almost seemed to suggest unsafe Bangalore. Is that true that the media deliberately sensationalized this issue?
Well, the first thing is that women are molested, sexually assaulted almost in every crowd. And when there are men who are drunk and they're going to have fun, that fun also includes touching a woman, molesting her or assaulting her. So I'm very sure that lots of women were molested on New Year's Eve in various parts of Bangalore and in the whole country. Now, the pictures which the newspaper ran, as a journalist, I would ask for more proof. Because those pictures of those women with the woman cop, the 3 pictures which went viral, there are clear CCTV footages which show that those were not the women who may have been molested, because there are footages which show the sequence. So as a journalist, I believe, yes, the first story was exaggerated, but the damage was done when the Karnataka Home Minister said something like, why wear Western clothes? I think it just became huge because of his comment. And the problem is that he sadly reflects what many men and women in this country think.
If a woman wore a short skirt in Chennai today, or in Bengaluru, or at Thiruvananthapuram, would she be subject to the male gaze, yes or no?
Definitely, yes, yes. I think there is something wrong with our social structure itself, because I remember when I was newly married, I come from a village, remember. I come from a village and I studied in a village till 10th standard or 9th standard. I didn't see so much of gender difference. When I got married and went to an affluent family for dinner, we were all sitting in the drawing room and we were all talking about lots of things. And then when it was dinner time, the lady of the house, who's a professional herself, and she said, "Can we go to the kitchen and eat?" You see, I was shocked because I'm from a village and in the city, and it was my wedding. But she said, "Can we eat in the kitchen?" So my husband had to eat in the drawing room and I had to eat in the kitchen. So there are these differences, there are these cultural traditions which should be avoided.
Kiran Bedi, as someone who's seen life in Delhi and now life in Puducherry, surely a woman who walks on the streets of Puducherry is a lot safer than a woman who walks the streets of Delhi. I mean, let's be clear. Do you believe that there is an exaggeration in a way? In the way, I mean, is it fair to damn the South in the manner it was after Bengaluru? There was this entire attempt, particularly in the national media, to suggest Bangalore unsafe. Your own experience in Puducherry, are women far more safe? Are they more empowered than they would ever be in North India?
Yes, I do see a very positive difference between the way women are looked at in Pondicherry compared to Delhi. I see greater respect for them. I see them find them safer. They walk through the late evenings. I find I find them much more at peace. I don't see them agitated. The only violence we have in Puducherry, major violence, is coming through alcoholism, and that also not as much of domestic violence, but leading to depressions and suicides. You see, you have the other side. So therefore, whereas in the north, alcoholism leads to domestic violence in a big way. Whereas I've noticed alcoholism leading to depressions and suicides in Pondicherry. That's an amazing difference. But I don't see women feeling unsafe as much as women feel unsafe in my city called Delhi.
Alcoholism is a big problem. It has been a big problem, particularly in Tamil Nadu. Among families, in fact, it became a big election issue last year as well. And Jayalalitha was forced to backtrack and agree in a way to some form of prohibition. Do you believe alcoholism is a major problem?
Before that, I want to say, ma'am, Suhasini ma'am said, from being in a village and coming to a city, she found a lot of difference. I am being brought up in Chennai for last 32 years of my life, from the day one of my life. And I remember an incident when I was in 10th standard. I went out with my class girls to Kahona Pyar Hai, first Bollywood movie I watched on theatre. 9 girls and I was the only boy. And there were some boys from my class, they spotted me in Satyam Theatre. And then they went and complained to my class teacher. The next day morning, she shamed me in front of the whole class, saying that, how can you go out with girls? What is your intention? I thought, 10th standard, I thought in a very convent kind of, look at my English, that kind of school. So, so I thought, okay, going out with girls and talking to girls and being with girls is a sin. Then I flunked in my 12th standard, not because of this, but generally I flunked. And my friends went to engineering college. And in engineering college, they were not allowed to sit next to a girl, not even talk to a girl in the bus journey of entire 48 hours to their college. It is far away, near Pakistan, the colleges are. Even in college, if a boy, girl, there's a famous saying, saying a boy, girl talk, the owner will talk. So it's like that. They are not allowed to talk to a girl. So boy who is not allowed to talk to a girl in a school, in college, how can he go handle the real life situation?
That's
He
what
is
I'm saying.
like
Something
completely
is wrong
restricted.
with our social
I'm
structure.
not justifying. I'm not
No,
justifying
is
men.
something
is wrong.
I'm
no,
not
are we-
justifying
no,
men.
is there this
There is a
deep-rooted
divide.
social
There is a
conservatism that has
divide.
divided society?
Yes, it is
segregated
divided.
society?
Man, woman, there is a fence, there is a division.
For a long time, I used to see women like something, they are like PK, somebody from other planet. Oh, there's a girl like this. I was not allowed to talk. So suddenly I go out and I see a woman partying with men. I think, oh, this girl is available. That's the first. I don't think, okay, it's normal to drink. If I'm not supporting drinking. Anybody, you drink, I drink, we both get the same disease.
No, I'm just wondering whether traditional societies there also, Leela Sampson, are under strain. Because, you know, you've got a new way of life being imposed on a traditional society. Traditionally, societies, particularly in this part of the world, did have a certain segregation between man and woman. It perhaps exists all across the country, but there is this new urbanism which suddenly is transposed on this traditional society.
I'm a little confused because there's such a strong, vibration of. Now the man is. I'm beginning to feel sorry for the men, who we started off this whole seminar on the discussion of whether there was gender bias in this country, and now I'm really feeling very sorry for you.
I came across all these things because my mom used to encourage me. Talk to girls, talk to girls.
I have to apologize to him. But having said that, Rajdeep, on a more serious note,
Yes.
from the day you are born, not only in India but anywhere in the world, a girl feels the threat of the fear of some kind of not molestation, but definitely, and the stories are endless, and we all have friends, we all have sisters, brother, everybody who has gone through some of this. Okay, so having said that, I'll say that you're never really safe. That in any society, and that includes politics, that includes institutions, it includes the film industry, it includes the worlds of art and normal society, offices, right down to hospitals. You name it, it's there. So there is a threat, and no girl is totally safe.
Look at the politics of Tamil Nadu. Barring Jayalalitha, who towered in a sense over the politics of the state for a long period, it is hugely male dominated.
As far as politics is concerned, it is definitely very, very male dominated. The problem being a lot of women are not encouraged to enter politics. You enter politics as a youth, and then you're there, and then you really need to work hard. You have to give 24/7. There are times when even 24 hours are not enough to be in politics. And when you start very young, then there's a family pressure. You have to get married, you have a family, you have to take care of your mother-in-law, you have children, you have to take care of them. And then you start making compromises, saying that when there's a meeting, no, I have family, I have to take care of them.
Is there a lot of gender bias even in the film industry, Suhasini Maniratnam?
Of course, when it comes to the salaries, of course, the men, the ratio is like from there to here.
How much does a Rajnikant get compared to, let's say, the number one?
1:100.
1:100?
Or 1:80.
We can come to Chennai and talk of gender bias, Kiran Bedi, but across India, do you believe that we are such a male-dominated society that to have women really make their mark is extremely difficult even today across this country, even in 2017, for women to make their mark truly is not easy, particularly in public life.
You got to look at which section of society you're looking. Which section of society are you addressing? Which region of the country you're addressing? Which community are you addressing? If you work with the villages, women still are second-rate citizens. If you work in the underprivileged sections, women are still not emerging. But women are emerging where parents are giving them an opportunity.
The South Indian states are well ahead of the rest of the country when it comes to gender issues. Female literacy, sex ratio, South India well ahead. But is there still a deep social conservatism that prevents the South Indian woman from truly getting her place in society?
I just want you to take away the south part, the Indian women, I will say.
Why? I mean, when I say South India, I'm looking in terms of statistics. You look at Kerala's female literacy figures. Look at the sex ratio across the southern states. Much better than any other part of the country.
I'm saying we are all part of the same country. Maybe we are first rank holders. Other states are in 7th rank or 8th rank. I'm saying, but still we are in the same class. Women are across India going through the same issues. Being a man, I in this place feel like a woman in a bus, city bus. Cornered. I'm just like watching all women. Same way, every day I see a woman travel. Like my grandfather used to cook at home. My friends, when they come to my house, they'll say, oh, what, your mother is not cooking, your grandfather, it's a shock for them.
You said South has more women educated, etc. Let me tell you, schooling and graduation masters without an internal courage is not enough. Is not enough. We have more literacy in Kerala. We got 96% literacy in Pondicherry. Does that provide a lot of women leadership? No, it doesn't. Because leadership requires raw courage. And who teaches courage? When you're growing up as girls, the parents actually instilled security in the minds of women. They instilled security in the minds of girls, whereas they teach daring to the boys. Say, go dare, go up front, go challenge. Where for women, withdraw, play safe, right? And they don't play sports. They're not outdoor, they're not mobile. So just because you made them more literate doesn't mean they become progressive. You understand that? So therefore, till courage is taught equally, courage to boys, courage to girls, and with equal opportunities, you will continue to have this gender gap. Girls are not still taught to take on, question the system, innovate, enterprise, and give money. They're not given mobility, they're not given finance, they're not empowered. Women in India are not empowered.
What is the best thing, and I'm going to ask all of you this, what is the best thing about living down south? What is it about South India that should make more and more Indians believe this is where the future lies? You start, RJ Balaji, and we'll go right round.
One
30
word
seconds.
is South India is our home. I don't have a better word to say, like why your house is the best thing for you. Like, because it's your house.
I'm a Keralite. I lived in Tamil Nadu. I celebrate Pongal because the Tamilians made me celebrate Pongal. They made me a part of their culture. So I think they retain a bit of tradition, but also cosmopolitan. And that's why the cities and the towns here are very different.
I think there's a liberation of the mind here. A person might be conservative, and I'm hitting upon a very delicate balance. You may find the person conservative in some ways, but there's a liberated mind there.
There's so much to learn from our neighboring states. From Kerala, you can learn all about literature, politics, and poetry, and how to lean to the left or right and swing back to the right. And from Andhra, you can absolutely learn how to be a good host. Hospitality is the best in Andhra Pradesh. And Karnataka people are modern. They kind of go along with the society. They are willing to learn everything from everywhere, and very simple people. Of course, about Chennai, we are very simple people. We don't have a facade. We don't even have any makeup on our faces, if you can see, because we don't waste time on things like that. What you see is what you get. We don't wear our wealth in our sleeves, and we don't wear our intellect in our hats. We don't. We are simple.